Okay, guys, let's transition into our daily learning segment of reading. So, today we're going to learn how to use a compare and contrasting chart. So, what is a compare and contrasting chart? So, like we always do, we're going to define our terms before we get into our lesson. So, comparing is things that are different, and contrasting are things that are the same. So, an example would be this apple and orange. So, the apple is red, the orange is orange. What's the same about them? They're both fruit. The same with crayons. Some of the blue crayons and the yellow crayon, they're both crayons. One is blue, one is yellow. You can do this with so many things. You can do this with animals. You can do this with characters in the books that we read. You can do this with sports. You can do this with so many things. So to be able to compare and contrast, you need two or more things. So item 1 would be the first thing that we compare. Item 2 would be the second thing that we compare. And then in the middle, we would write the things that are the same about the two. So there are so many different ways that we can compare and contrast. But today, we'll be using a compare and contrast chart. So when we think of compare and contrasting, we think of Venn diagrams. Those are the two circles that overlap, and then in the center we write the things that are the same. That's the same thing here. It's just a lot easier to do it this way because there's so much more room for things in the middle that are the same. So first, what we would do is we would draw our 3 boxes, and I would show them how to draw the 3 boxes in a row. So we would draw our 3 boxes, so the 2 things that are different and the 1 thing that's the same. So let's try it. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 things to compare. So what we would do is we would write what we want to compare on the outsides of the chart, just like this, and then I would show them the outsides. Compare on the inside of what's the same. So what is the same in the middle box? So for my example, I'm going to use cats and dogs. So we would put cats at the top, and then we would put dogs at the top on both of the outsides. So then I would write cats and write dogs on the board. And then in the middle, what we're going to do is we're going to put what's the same. So we're going to put same in the middle, okay? So then I would write same. And then, okay, ready? Watch me, guys. So I would put, let's think of some things. So for cats, they are, they meow, okay? And then things that dogs do, they bark. And then some things that are the same, we would say they're both pets, they're both animals, they're both, and then we can just list all of these different things about cats and dogs, and we can see what are the same things and what are different. So let's transition into our reading today. So today, we're actually going to be reading American football. So let's read pages 4 through 10 together, and let's also think about some similarities and some differences that the book gives us. So after reading, what are 2 parts that we can compare between American football and football in other countries? And then I would draw on the board again another 3 boxes. And I would also come up with a couple things if they're struggling. So let's raise our hands and see what are some things that we all think that are the same for American football and football in other countries. And they would come up with a list, and if they don't have that list, or if they can't think of anything, we can, I can come up with a couple things, and the same for the differences also. So now that we came up with some things that, some different things about football in America and football in some other countries, we are going to read the rest of the story, or you guys are going to read the rest of the story with your buddies, with your reading buddies. And what we're going to do is we're going to think of some things that are the same and some things that are different with the rest of the book. So when we're done, when you guys are done reading, and I'll be walking around to help you guys. So when we're done, we're going to think of a few ideas together of things that in the book that we can compare and contrast. So some things that are different and some things that are the same. When you guys are reading, just keep thinking of things that are the same and things that are different. Okay? And then when they're done writing or reading, I would hand out different like charts that are already made, or they can create their own. They can use them with their partners, or they can do them on their own. It is their choice. And if they get stuck, I would also help them.